Hi Ankit, good morning.
Hey, hi Vasu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are
Ankit,
you?
you are taking. I'm fine. Ankit, you are taking AI agent also. Last session I
Uh,
attended Sunday.
yeah, so sometimes I do take that session as well.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay, okay. Because I
Yeah.
missed that class actually first session Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
The Sunday I attended. You were taking. So you'll be taking that class also, or only one or two sessions?
So
AI
as and
agentic.
when required, I'll jump into that
Oh, is it? Okay,
batch
okay,
as
okay.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. But this one, no, I did not attend from first 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So because whenever the new batch starts, no, I requested them to add me. They said they
Mm-hmm.
will add me because I was more interested in AI agentic, but Genai
Mm-hmm.
was there, so I thought I will do both courses.
Mm-hmm. So this GenAI, this would be the foundational where you understand how the models are working, right? Then you will
Right,
be
right,
able to appreciate, or then you will be able to actually understand the approach that you are taking, right?
right, 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 right. Yeah,
How
yeah.
to break your problem into mini problems so that you can actually get the whole thing work up, right?
That's
So
true.
that becomes important while you are building the base, and then you can build all those agents. Because
Correct.
whatever you are building here in one class, there it will be one function only. This one agent will do that stuff, and you can have multiple agents playing together, depending on
True.
the use case again.
That's true. Because since you already started that Genai way back, so I thought I told them that I want to do Genai also. That's why
Mm-hmm.
they added me last two classes so that
Mm-hmm.
I just get some foundational knowledge and then
Yeah.
do agentic at least.
Yes.
And again, these any certifications are there. For example, Azure, right? Azure,
Uh-huh.
Microsoft, they give some certifications which are
Mm-hmm.
some value in the market. For agentic AI or Genai, is any good certification which has some weightage, some value, not just like doing
Um,
it, any that are
mm-hmm.
recognized in the market.
Mm-hmm. So I am of a little, I believe a little different in this particular scenario. Rather than going for certification, I believe either you learn from YouTube, open source, or anywhere. It will reflect in your understanding, in your learning. Certification is there, yes, agree. Certification is needed in many scenarios. You would need those certification, but I am not too much into certification. All this Gen AI and all this stuff I learned by myself. I do not have any certification into this. So
Because all the
my
sinners, reason is all
yeah,
the sinners will not work for all people, right? Because
yeah.
for me it's difficult unless there is some motivation. No, I won't do it.
Mm,
That's a problem with me.
yeah.
So unless
No,
I keep,
I understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason I was asking, right? If there is something
Yeah.
certification, I keep learning. Otherwise, it's very difficult for me to focus on getting that thing. Okay, that's
Yeah,
the reason I
I
was asking.
understand. Yeah. So I believe there are many such there are many hackathons that are conducted. There are many certifications that are conducted. So
Okay. Can you give me any
it keeps on
sites where,
happening.
because I know one this WIDS Women in Data Science, we participate in
Mm-hmm.
that AML
Mm-hmm.
models. This year
Mm-hmm.
also first challenge we participated that one. So
Yeah.
that is
Um,
this is a multi output. Is a multi-output solution. We have to predict that
mm-hmm.
one. Whether
Mm-hmm.
based on the data, you have to predict whether the person is male or female and how far he is keen to ADHD. ADHD is acute disorder, neural
Mm-hmm.
disorder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is there more in males and females. But females they will have that, but it will be hidden. They won't know
Mm-hmm.
because they feel very sleepy, not attentive, very inactive. That will be there, right? But if that is found earlier and diagnosed, they can come out of the situation. That is the problem statement, and they give the data. So I was able to get 64%, but my friends and all they got 75%, 80%. The score,
Ah,
that percentage,
okay.
right? We have to find
Mm-hmm.
the F1 score plus
Mm-hmm.
the data should be predicted whether
Mm-hmm.
the patient is a male or female, or whether he is will be diagnosed to
Mm-hmm.
the disease
So it was
ADHD.
a machine learning classification model that you
Mission
were
is right,
building.
multi-output classifier.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Okay.
use some. I use some models, LGB classifier.
Mm-hmm.
Those classifiers I use. I try to get those data and all. But
No, that's good.
yeah, that is one thing we are doing, so that we'll understand. But from agentic AI, no, because
Mm-hmm.
most of these things, I work with Wells Fargo, but
Mm-hmm.
within the bank they won't allow us to do anything. So what is the problem
Yeah.
for us is we will forget after 1 month. If you come and ask me, no, I won't remember anything, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
agree.
that's the problem with me actually. So that's why I
No,
was asking, like,
that's with everyone,
yeah, how
actually.
do I keep that keep going, Ankit? How do I, because I am doing
No.
agentic AI, and
Uh-huh.
definitely this will be there. After that, Gen AI also I'll do it.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything you suggest for me? Because for us,
So
this is very important initiative.
yes, so it's all about you keep exploring what new thing is coming. You build some, let's say sometime you have a competition to participate in, you are engaged in there, but let's say on a certain week you do not have a project or you do not have a competition or a class to work on. Maybe you can explore some ideas that you can build on, and maybe you can build your own project. You can showcase it in LinkedIn, you can showcase it on other platforms. That will give you also that,
Okay.
acknowledgement that you are building something, you are doing something, and it will keep on iterating over your skills that whatever you have learned. Maybe explore through the ideas that you can build upon. Apart from obviously the hackathon, other batches or other whatever you are participating in, along with that, in parallel, just keep exploring what all projects you can build upon. And
That's
these
true.
projects are not for, they are for your own learning. So may
Right,
not
right, right.
be like everybody
Production.
might not understand those.
That those are not production ready, but
Yeah.
our company is giving so much emphasis, right, on this thing. And
Mm-hmm.
we collected so many use cases, 50, 60 use cases, like developing some buddies, tech buddies and all, right, onboarding buddies
Uh-huh.
and all, right. So
Uh-huh.
and but what is happening here is, because of the company nature, they won't allow everyone to work on, because of the access to models or libraries,
Mm.
vulnerabilities, and all those
Yes, the
complaints what, no,
security and
yeah,
compliance
security.
comes in.
That is a big thing for us, big problem, right? So
Yeah.
that is one big stop for us, big wall of stop for us. So our company got Tachyon platform, both
Uh-huh.
playground and workbench, where
Uh-huh.
you can connect to the models and all, but they won't give it to everyone. If your use case is selected and it's production business save, then only they'll give you
Mm.
access, workbench access. Then you can develop. So like that, right? So it is not that
Yeah.
easy, right, for everyone to get into. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, so in that case, I believe today's discussion would be helpful,
Sure.
where you
Yeah.
can quickly come up with a use case. You can quickly um, give a demo of like a POC. You can build a POC without too much going into technicals. You just configure the stuff with low code, no code platforms, and you can quickly come up with a use case to give a demo, right? So this
And
is,
there is
mm,
anything you said N8 10, right? Was there
yeah,
anything N9 9 10 N10 and something
yes,
like that?
yes, that's it, and it is also part of our no code, low code platform.
Okay, okay,
So it is similar to like. So there is one platform that is much more specialized in certain aspect. There is another platform which, adding to the previous one, it also adds some other features. I will discuss those features. Um I also will be looking into some of the others models like text to image. How do you generate those text to image, that image to text to speech, all those. They're as easy as using our large language model or the other large language model that we were using for generating the text. It is as easy to use those text to image model or image to text model. It's just that those models are trained differently. Their training data was different. Their evaluation parameters were different, right? It's just that is the difference. Using those models, there can be a minor change here and there, but it is as easy as using our text model, right? So we'll be looking into those models. So I have added as an agenda for today, and it would be not a very long session. It will be discussing around low code platform like Langflow is one. We will be building that use case that I showed in the last session, and we'll be also understanding what N8N is and what is the difference between it. N8N is a really good platform. I think it has been getting a good traction after this AI and everything has come up. They have integrated AI agents into their workflow, and it is getting a good market hit as well. But core is again, we will understand inside a particular node what is happening, where they are showing just one node happening a lot of stuff, or two node doing all of the stuff. Internally, what is all happening? We'll see that as well. I will have some samples of text to image, image to text, text to speech, those models as well. And what is multimodal? When we say multimodal approach, right? Or let's say some of the models are multimodal in itself. What exactly is multimodal? Or when you are building your use case, if you can call it a multi-model approach or a multi-model use case or not, that we will also understand, right? So let's see the Lang flow first. So what is a low-code, no-code platform? I believe you might have used some machine learning platforms which are low-code, no-code, or you might have used. Have you heard of K9? There is a platform called K9.
K9, no. We have heard
K9.
about no, Kaggle, we heard. K9,
No.
huh? K9.
Yeah, it's K9, yes. So
K9 they'll
what,
call.
yeah, what happens in here? Uh, Starting from your data input, right? You can read a file. So it's like you will drag a module. That module will take the input as a, let's say, a PDF path or a CSV path or a Excel file path. It will take the input path. It will read the file, or there is a bunch of set of like a bunch of line of code that is written in that block. The input would be what you process in or what you add in there, and it will process the input in whatever the script is written, and it will give you the output, right? So you need not to write those codes. The codes are already available in the form of blocks. You just need to get the block, connect it right, and the end-to-end process can be done. And you can build your machine learning models as well with K9, right? So this is what K9 is, that it will, you need not to write the code. You just need to understand a broader overview of how things should be working. You just connect the input, output properly, you configure that part, and your machine learning model is ready, right? That is for K9. The same thing happens for Langflow, or when I say low code platform, Langflow, N8, and there are others as well. So what they does, they you need not to do anything. Just like if you see in here, this is their website, Langflow website. What they do, they will have just a block. This block can be of different. Let's say you want to generate embedding, so you can have an embedding block. You want to read a PDF, that can be a block. You want to convert, or you want to have a vector database. This vector database itself can be a block, right? So internally, the code is written, obviously, because that whatever the input is taken, it has to get processed through something, and then output is generated, right? So internally, there is a bunch of line of code only. It's just that you need not to worry about that. Standard code is already available. The template is already available. You just plug in, use it, and that's it. It's just you build your use case without worrying about the code and everything. The code is standard code because uh, for hitting any LLM, or let's say when you are creating a LLM instance, right? You would need those three to four inputs only, right? Which model you want to use, which what is the API key for that particular model, what is the temperature for that model, right? There might be other configuration depending upon what model you are using. Let's say if you are using OpenAI model, you just need OpenAI key maybe. That's the minimum that you want. Let's
Right.
say you want to use Azure OpenAI model. There, not only the API key, you would also need that host URL, right? The endpoint, Azure endpoint, you would need that. You would need, let's say, model version. You might need to add other things also, right? So you can add those things, you can configure those things inside this block only. You need not to write the code. There will be some drop down or some option where you can enter all these details, and it will be taken care of by the code to keep those things wherever they are required. And it is as good as you will have a UI template where you just fit in your, or if you are afraid of writing code, or if you are afraid of looking into the code, because initially I was afraid of like what is written. I never used to get what is written, these colorful lines and everything. This is a good platform to start with. Only to start with, I would say, because sometimes you want to go and your exact use case might not be available. So in that case, you might not, you might want to have some custom changes inside the code, right? So ultimately, what this is my personal preference. I like to code. I like to get into the code, understand what is happening, and get to that part as well. But this is good to have an overview to understand how things are flowing, right? And it is
And Ankit,
open
can you
source.
just tell me one line on the temperature? I forgot. You explained me
Yeah.
last time. One line on the
Okay.
temperature.
Yeah, so temperature is, let's say, whenever you want your model to generate something. Let's say you are asking, just say hi, right? Never, so a particular model never generates one output. It generates a series of output with each token having a different probability. Let's say when you ask hi, model will respond, hey, how are you? Right? But every time model response might not be same. Why? Because what the temperature of that model is. Maybe hi, how are you was the output with maximum probability, right? And also you understand model never generates the whole text at a time. It generates one token at a time, right? So maybe when you give hi, first is it generated hey, then it generated comma, then it generated how, then it generated you. So this one token at a time was coming, right? So this one token itself, model never generate only one token. It generates a couple of tokens with different token having different probabilities, right? And your layer of the output layer, which is picking which output to select from the series of output that your model has generated. That's where my temperature comes in. If you set the temperature on the lower side, whichever has the maximum probability in the output tokens generated by the model will get picked, or will get the highest preference when it comes to selecting which token to pick. Or if you have the temperature on the higher side, the preference of your maximum probability goes down, and your model or your outermost layer can pick the token which is with the lesser probability also. So in that case, your model might generate some random output as well. So let's say when you say hi, how are you, it can say, hey, how are you, how can I help you today? Some additional text or some random text. And it can be that even if you keep the temperature as, let's say, 0.7, 0.8, which is, let's say, on the higher side, you give the input, exactly same input, exactly same all other conditions, the output might be different. Why? Because with higher temperature, model is reducing the likelihood, or model is reducing which token to pick. It is not the a model with highest probability that it needs to pick. It can pick any other token as well, and that is taken adjusting. There is a softmax layer, that is the outermost layer, which adjusts based on the temperature, and it picks the output. So that's where my temperature helps in. So temperature, if you see, temperature is like randomness, how much random response you want from your model, or how much creative you want your model. Every time it will create a new output, right? That's like what is the creativity level of your model, or randomness of your model. Those are some I can say synonyms, or like terms that are used in interchangeably with temperature, right? So that was my temperature. These are
Sure.
some of the parameters you can set when you are building this LLM instance and start using it, right? So, yeah,
Where it generates the code here, Ankit? Where it generates
yeah,
codes? Let's take, if you take
yeah,
this block.
yeah. We'll come there. This is just the Langflow homepage. We'll just get inside and start using it, right? It was just navigation. How do you navigate through this? You just sign in. Initially, it gives you some free credits. You can use it to a limited extent. This Langfuse is also open source. I think you can self-host them. N8N is also self-hosted. You can also host it yourself and get it to your production yourself, right? Okay. So this was one of the application that I have built earlier just to test the use case and how things are flowing. We can build it right now as well. Let it just pull up. So by the time, hey, hi Ashok.
Hi, Bolo.
Yeah. Um, so so just to give you a brief on the agenda for today's session, we are looking into some of the no code, low code platform where you need not to code everything. You just need to have a broader understanding, and you just need to pick and drop the different blocks. These different blocks are nothing but just a bunch of line of codes that are written, and which will take some input, which will do some processing based on the block that you have taken, and it will generate output which can be consumed by a human, or it can be taken further and added to another block, right? It is um, so it is for those who, let's say, are starting with, or to quickly get into production without doing too much of code or maintaining too much of code. Or if you are not too handy with the coding part of it, this can be a good point to start with in that case, right? So it is just spinning up, taking a little longer. Yeah. So, what Langflow and what NA10 is? Ashok, do you know what NA10 is and how or what is the use case?
N8N is actually that automation of flow in the maybe in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ashok, for NA10, do you understand webhooks? Do you understand automation? Let's say an order was placed, right? As soon as the order was placed, let's say on Amazon website, you place order, there is a pipeline that kicks in by at the back end, which will update a lot of stuff. Let's say a order was placed, who placed the order, what is the order item ID, what is the address, what is the seller ID, what is there are a number of things that needs to be updated, right? There needs to be updation in the inventory, there needs to be trigger on your mobile phone, there need to be trigger on the sellers, and that okay, this order has been placed and you need to ship the order. There are multiple things that happens as soon as you place one single order, right? And everything, all of this is done on automation. Or when I say automation, there is a bunch of scripts that are available. They will trigger based on whatever the input or whatever the trigger mechanism for those script is, right? So what this workflow management or a similar tool does is you can build those pipelines here. You can build those workflows here, that whenever a trigger, you can set the trigger in. Whenever a trigger happens, there is a part of pipeline or there is a pipeline that needs to be executed. And these execution can be sending a text message to your mobile phone. Along with that, you can also have, let's say, sending a seller notification that, okay, this order has been placed, then updating the inventory, then updating your account details as well, that okay, this order needs to be going here. There can be bunch of things that you can do on that part. Similar platform, they were already, these kind of platforms are already there into the market. They are doing they are in there for a lot of time. It's just that N8N has integrated those flows, those workflows, which were earlier manually triggered, right? Or manually captured at all different scenarios. Now, our AI agent also has come into that picture. So it is not just the web or like the those web triggers that okay, whenever there is an entry in my Excel sheet, I'll need to update something. Or let's say that whenever there is an update on my calendar, I need to throw a text message. Or let's say 15 minutes prior to my meeting, I need to send a text message to all the participants, okay, that there is a meeting in 15 minutes, right? This is the automation workflow. Nobody is sitting there and manually doing it. There is a workflow that is set in place, which will trigger, let's say, 15 minutes prior to the meeting, and you will get a text message. The text message can be a standard text message you can put in, right? So that is what the automation workflow is. What N8N has done, they have integrated those autonomous workflows with our AI or web agents or AI agents. They have integrated these two, and the output is definitely hitting a good traction in the market. This Langflow is a little on the this AI agent part, where you are building that agent itself, which what task it will do. When you accommodate it with other tools as in, let's say, you connect it with your Gmail, you connect it with your calendar, you connect it with your order placed inventory, you connect it with your other stuffs, right? Then it will become like a pura workflow pipeline, right? So there is a difference or a slight difference between N8N and your Langflow. N8N gives you much more exposure to much more. It is very tool. There are, I would say, a lot of tools that are there on N8N, right? That's why it is getting too much of attention. Langflow, there are tools, but there are not too many tools. This focus primarily on that agent part. So if you see, This was the pipeline that I have built. I have also discussed in our last, or I briefly displayed this pipeline to you guys as well. Let me know if you guys are able to um, see this part particularly.
This you're using Langflow or
This is
N8N
Langflow.
Langflow. Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
In N8N also, you build similar kind of pipeline. It's just that there might be like number of tools might be more there,
Okay, okay.
right? So here, if you see these are all the tools that you have available in here, right? You have all these bundles available. You can connect with LangChain, Agent QL assembly. These are all the Notion ke saath you can connect NVIDIA, Google, Creo AI, Cohere. These are all the connection that you can build. If you see in N8N, there would be much more tools. Apart from these would be there, but there are many other tools as well too when you are building that automation. It is not just limited to. So that's why I'm saying that there is a difference between the use case of these two. The Langflow is much more or primarily focused on building those agents, right? N8N is not just building on focusing on building those agents. It is also focusing on connecting these agents with your entire workflow. How will you trigger that agent? How what will be the output, or there will be some output of your agent and it will trigger something else, right? So there is entire pipeline that is built. If you see, like in here, this is the homepage of N8N. So this kind of pipeline you will build, that there is a webhook. Webhook is like, let's say whenever a event
Event, event,
happens,
event, right?
something is triggered.
GitHub,
You know?
GitHub.
Yeah. Similarly, yes, GitHub. So there is a webhook. This webhook will trigger my AI agent. This AI agent has access to a bunch of things internally. It will handle, right? It has different tools. It has different LLM models that you can work with and around. Once the AI agent is built, AI agent will decide whether to get, post, or delete, whatever the request has to go. This my agent is playing an important role in here, and depending upon whatever my agent response, and the agent response will be based on whatever the webhook request is it has got from the backend, right? It will either which pipeline to trigger, right? This is my agent deciding. Similarly, you have other similar pipelines. So this is much more into, and if I just talk about my Langflow is primarily, or I would say, more focused on building this part.
What agent will do? What are the
Yeah,
actions? What
what
it's
AI
going to
agent will do, how you can configure, primarily focusing on AI agent. Rest of the things are something that much more flexibility, much more enriched tools and everything they are available in anything. But it's important to understand how you configure this AI agent, right? Because once you understand this, rest of the things are standard which were already there in the market already, right? So we'll build this use case. So it is as simple as the flow that we saw in our code, right? Uh, I'll just try to, yeah. Are you guys able to understand what is there on the screen?
Yeah, we can see the flow. And
Yeah.
where it generates the code, Ankit? Where it
Yeah, I will come there. Don't worry. So it is just the input that it takes. This is the file
right.
input that goes in. You can select a file in here. It can be a data frame. It can be a whatever the input that you choose. And whatever the input that you choose, you can connect it with your text splitter. Now you wondering that where is the code? How can you get the code, or how can you get the visibility on the code? Okay. So let's say I want to see the code for OpenAI embedding, right? You click on this block and here you already have the code. You have the code at the back end. This much of the code is already there available for you to use. If you want, you can copy this code, paste it in your notebook. This is much more comprehensive. Maybe if you would have written this code just to use the OpenAI embedding, you would have used maybe less line of code than what they are using, right? But it is much more comprehensive. It is handling much more uh, errors, much more configuration they are handling, right? Because maybe you will start with the bare minimum. Okay, I just need embedding OpenAI API key, and I just need the model name, and I'll just get started. I don't need to worry about anything else. This is much more specialized, much more focused on a particular thing. So it is only primarily for OpenAI embedding. This is only for OpenAI embedding. This is the block that is available from this side. You have this block available. You can search for it and you will get it.
And everything as per your shown, right, shows Python snippet code. So at
Yes.
the backend, it's a Python code,
Backend,
and
it's the Python code
Python
only.
code. So I
Yes.
correct from this. Let's take each is like a card, right? Each is a card or a
Yes.
task. And how
Yes.
do I collect all this code and then put a project and then compile it and run it? How
Hmm.
do we do that?
Okay. So if you search in here, under embeddings, you have two different OpenAI embedding. One is OpenAI embeddings and one is Azure OpenAI embeddings, right? Whichever model you want to use, you can use that. So it just you just search it, drag it, and paste it, and just connect it. Okay. Then you ask
Aniket,
how do you
there is.
connect it?
Can you just explain one line of embeddings? As some embeddings is nothing but to generate the code for you, right? It'll embed the code, or there's some meaning
Yeah,
from that.
it will convert from text to numbers. And these are not just any random number, it captures the meaning of the statement that you are converting.
Can you show the third block? What is the third block doing? Third or fourth
Sorry?
block? Fourth block. What the
Uh,
fourth block? Can you pull down?
Chroma DB, Chrome
yeah,
DB.
that's your vector database.
So the
This
flow,
vector
if you
database,
look at, see, we have done an input PDF that got split, and
hmm,
it goes to the Chrome DB.
Chroma DB, yes, that's a vector
Uh,
database. Just
so
like,
from the Chroma DB, what is happening?
yeah,
Embedding happening.
okay. So in Chroma DB, you are giving the input text
Okay,
split that was your data ingest data that you
embedding
did.
is done part of the DB. You are saying
Sorry?
embedding is part of DB will take care. Chroma DB will take care of the embedding also. You have to just give a chunks.
Yes, you just need to give the chunks what needs to be convert, and you just need to give this OpenAI embedding instance. This is where it is creating this OpenAI instance, embedding instance. You just need to give this instance to this block. What this block will do, this will take the input data, it will take the input embedding, the model instance, and it will convert those input document, whatever the split document that you had, it will convert into embedding and place it for you, right? And this particular thing, that from the top, it is coming my chat input, whatever the text data that you want to add in, right? So this text data will also go into the same. This is my search query. Search query as in whatever the user input would be against which you want to retrieve your closest match from your data, right? That you can configure. You connect that, and the output from this will be connected to again to my parser. This parser, so when the data is retrieved from your vector database, it is in a list of documents that are available, and it needs to be extracted just the text information from that list of documents. Just the text needs to be extracted, right? So that text information that goes inside your parser, that parser takes the text, and this is your prompt for your final agent, right? You also connect your SQL query, not the SQL query, sorry, the input query from the user. You take this query and you take the retrieved document from your vector database and you connect to your prompt. If you see, this is your prompt. This is your prompt. You are giving you this context. This context will come from a vector database. This is just one line of prompt that you are giving, and it will uh, create this prompt. So in this, you are just creating the prompt, nothing else. This one block is just to create that prompt for you. This prompt then will go to your LLM instance. Here again, you are configuring this LLM instance. How? You just pass your OpenAI key because this is my OpenAI object that I'm trying to create. I'm passing my API key. I'm selecting the model name, right?
How
And
do we
if you
get
want to set,
compile this as a single code? Now it is block to block, right?
yes.
So how do you sequence it? How do you compile it to a single code where I can run in a book?
Okay. So you can copy it, you can paste it, you can run it through there, or you can publish it
No, no.
directly.
I'm saying when you take individual copies, we don't know how to sequence it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Properly.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't keep the proper sequence, it won't work, right?
Yes.
So do we get a single code out of all this, and where we can just run it?
I think even in I doubt you can get a single code for everything. Like whatever is there, you get a single line of code. I'm yet to explore on that part. Maybe you can try on that, right?
But
because
I
I
think
don't use Langflow that frequent, or that I like to code myself. I would do that, right? But the good thing is it will give you the publish directly whenever your workflow is ready. You can freeze, you can just start, and you can get the API access to this workflow, and you can share it with uh, your
API
colleagues
access,
or your
API
teammates.
would be there will be a prompt input. You have to give what is the API access. So the API, then you will get some key value, right? You have to input, right, to get some output.
Yes. So this
So
is
what is the
when
key and what is the value you have to pass?
so you
What is
see
the
this
key is
prompt.
available?
This is giving how you can access this particular um, uh, framework or this particular pipeline that you have triggered. You just need to, it is already giving you that standard code that whenever you want to have it, this is the URL available, this is the input, whatever the input that you want to put in here, right? And
That is the only input you have to key through that API, right?
yes,
Only that text you have to put on
yes,
the whatever the query on the document, we have to put it as a input value in the
yes,
API, correct?
correct. Yes, you
And
can
this
enable into.
API
Mhm.
server will be running when you publish. Where it will be
Yes,
running? It will be running on the LAN chain server,
Langfuse server. Yes.
LANfuse server, correct?
Mm.
So
Yes,
this API will be passed to LANfuse server, and you will get the output.
correct.
So it is chargeable.
Initially, it is free. You can self-host it. Initially, it is free for you, but after some credits, it will be chargeable.
So if you want to self-host, what is the procedure? We can we
They provide the Docker documentation and everything where you can self-host it. I believe N8N also is self-hostable. You can host your
yeah.
model
You
yourself,
can
right?
download as a Docker.
Yeah. So if you host the model, all these limitation of how do you access it, how do you host it, all this, or API access or credits and all, everything will be taken care of, right?
So Docker, how do they will convert Docker and give it to us, and we have to install something for Docker in our
No, so
laptop
yes, so it's
server.
like you will need not like it's not just this pipeline that you will get. It's the complete Langfuse that you will get. There you can build your own whatever this platform is. This platform is completely hosted on your end. It has nothing to do with the
I'm
Langflow.
saying
Once you get
to
that
get
image.
this Docker from this LAN, if you or wherever it is, and
Mm-hmm.
putting that into our server, we need to install the Docker setup in our
Mm-hmm.
servers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What need to be
Yes.
set up in our servers or laptop to get this running in our laptop? The Docker which is given by the
Yes.
website.
Yes. You need to you will get the image. You will need to self-host it then. Yeah. Does this make sense?
Hmm.
so, Aniket, one question, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
Ashok already asked. So, whatever the workflow you're saying, this complex
Mm-hmm.
workflow we build, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
at the end, it will generate a JSON. This because if you look at other tools in the market, right, which will do the
Mm-hmm.
similar, it is like automation, right? Automation of your workflow. That's it. You
Mm-hmm.
have a sequence of tasks and you automate, and it should generate a JSON file. And if it
Mm-hmm.
has some engine, it will execute at the backend. That's true. But
Mm-hmm.
for us to, as Ashok asked, right, for us to take this workflow as is
Mm-hmm.
and then have a
Mm-hmm.
bot running. So
Mm-hmm.
you said we need to explore how to convert this into this entire
Yeah.
book, a single
Yeah.
is a module or project, whatever you said, right? Those things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I have seen N8N notebooks getting shared as a JSON, and you can just take that JSON, integrate it, and start using it.
Okay.
I have not come across till yet about these Langflows JSON where you can export the pipeline and integrate it into another account and start using it. I have not come across for Langflow till yet. Maybe there exists, maybe there does not exist something like this. For N8N, yes. For N8N, for sure, it exists that let's say there is this profile or there is this Langflow pipeline that we have built. We can just export that JSON. That JSON will take care of how those connections are building, what is the configuration of those connection, input, output, everything is taken care of. And let's say I'll give you that JSON from this pipeline. You can integrate that JSON into your, you can just directly import it and you can use the pipeline as is.
Can we, whether this N8N or Langflow, will they also provide a platform to execute this workflow now for us, or just on the creation?
Yes, yes, it is available there. So
Okay.
you can run each individual block at a time, or you can go to the playground. This entire end-to-end pipeline will be executed,
Oh,
right?
oh,
So these are the some of the questions that I have tried, right? I have connected particularly my document against this, and it is giving me the response from the document that I have provided. Depending upon how good you modify your prompt, how good you structure the pipeline, the response quality will definitely change, right? You can do all that configuration. Let's say you want to there is this control option also. Whatever you want to control, let's say you want to limit the response number of results, whatever. We have this top K in our, when we used to code, we used to have this as top K, right? You can configure it here. What type of similarity you want to have, a similarity or MMR. This is the similarity type that you perform. Similarity is the cosine similarity, and MMR is maximum marginal relevance. This is again a type of similarity that you do, right? These are all the configuration that you can do for the retriever. Does this make sense? These are all the settings that you can um, play around with.
okay.
This was just for Chroma. For each one of them, there would be similar settings that you can control. So this, let's say you want to set a temperature. You understand seed, right?
See,
Uh,
no, no, no.
Ashok, do you understand seed?
No, no, no.
Okay, so let's say you generate some random number. Let's say there is a Python code that you have written, and you are asking it to generate a random number, right? So every time you run that script, every time you will get a random number. But if you get a random number every time, your pipeline would not be, or let's say you are, or let's say I'll take an example which I started understanding seed with. Let's say you are taking a data for your machine learning model, right? And for that machine learning model, you are splitting your data into your test data and in your trained data, right? And let's say you started with your splitting. You did a split, let's say of 70-30. And let's say out of those 100 record, randomly 70 were chosen that were being part of your trained data, and randomly the rest of the 30 was part of your test data. So every time you do a random pick, those 70 will change, right? But you do not want to change that those 70. Yes, that's those 70 were picked randomly every time. Uh, but you want to pick those 70 only those 70 to be taken every time, and even if you are running those script multiple times, so that you do not have impact on your the pipeline, the rest of the pipeline. So this, what this seed will do is, it will freeze that whatever the random number that is being generated, it is the same number every time, right? You can set this seed to any number, but you just make sure that whatever the number you are putting, it is the same number every time that you are running the script through. Does this make sense?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do that with the AML models.
Yeah, exactly. It is the same stuff here. Temperature, you see, on the lower end side, it is precise. On the right, on the upper side, it is creative. So it's like you are adding the randomness, you are adding, making, asking the model to be more creative and everything, right? This is the configuration that you do. Some of these configuration are must, like the model name, the API key. These are must. Some of them are not so important, right? So you can play around that. So this is my low code, no code platform. N8N will give you much more, um, I would say, integration to different tools. You can build those workflow. I'll leave that for you to explore around N8N. If you face any challenge or anything, we can definitely discuss around that. Okay. Uh,
Sure. And
yeah.
only these are the two, only Langflow and
No,
N8N
there
is
are
available.
others. There are others as well.
famous in the market.
Yeah, these are the N10 is quite famous. Langflow is also something that is that has got traction. I started understanding this with the starting with K9 first. Then I understood that okay, just Langflow is just similar as K9 in terms of AI, and then N10 comes with a lot of other tools. So if we look at their tool bank, we'll be having somewhere. So you see, these are all the different tools that they have you can connect around with. Some of them we might not be even aware of, but they exist because we are not using it, some other might be using it. You have Gmail, you have Excel, you have Google Sheet, you have Calendar, you have access to all of them. And you can build your same RAG pipeline in N8N as well, right? So that was my low code, no code platform discussion around. uh, I would definitely want you to like explore these because once you start getting into it, you will definitely face some challenges, some problems, where when you debug them, you will get more understanding of the platform. And I'm sure you will agree to this. Okay?
Right, right.
So this was around my low code, no code platforms. Now let's see around the other point of our discussion today, which is let's say text to image model. So how difficult you think it would be to convert from text to image or generate an image from a text?
We already
And
have so many models, right? Which will, if I tell, if I prompt,
uh,
please create a cat with a background
mm,
of mountains, that's my
hmm,
text, right? It will come
yeah,
with a picture, right? So I
yeah.
don't remember which one I use, Perplex or something, right? Which will generate, which is very good at this type of.
That is available in your WhatsApp also. There is the Olama,
What's
which
one? Which one?
you that's Llama model that is available there. If you
Okay.
ask it, it will generate an image for you right then and there in your WhatsApp itself.
Oh, okay, okay.
That is also available there. If you want to have other models, like there are Mid-Journey, there are model by our OpenAI. What is the name of the model that is by OpenAI that generates this uh, text to image? I'm
Which
not
one? Which one?
text to image model,
Text. Oh.
text to image model by OpenAI.
Yeah, recently I used it. I forgot the name actually.
It's called DALI. Yeah,
Dali, Dali, right, 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 right.
yeah,
DLLE. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
tried to.
DALI is
I
also one
asked. I
model.
asked Dali to create. I gave my photo. I asked it to
Mhm.
create it background with Himalaya mountains.
Yeah.
It just tried to create that one photos, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the models are there where you can integrate those kind of scenarios. You can build around those scenarios. But that was on the how you build those models using those standard model, which might be a little on the heavier side. I tried exploring this model through a open source Hugging Face model and see the quality of the image. Trust me, you will not appreciate this for sure. I tried this. It took over 39 minutes. You see, it took over 39 minutes to get this image. I
Okay.
was
So
running it all on my local computer. Obviously, computation is the key here because lower computation means it will take more time to do that processing and everything. But it is just these three lines of code, even if you are doing through code or if you are using the standard DALI or Llama models, it would be even lesser than this. Trust me, even lesser than this line of code. But it is again up to how you prompt the model, how you make your model understand what you are expecting when you are generating the models, when you're generating those text to images, right? I tried this and this was the one. So after running this only, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not running it again." This was the other one. It also took around half an hour to get me this image. And the prompt was simple, like a photo of astronaut riding a horse on Mars. Nothing wrong in here, but obviously the image could have been better if I was using some other better models, right? So this was a standard stable diffusion model that was available on Hugging Face directly. The other models like there are Midjourney, a good model. It has got really good traction. DALI, Olama, not Olama, the Llama models, they are available. You can use them if for the use case, whatever you want to. But not only this, we do have other models. There is this model, obviously, this DALI, and these are the models which are paid model, closed source model, where you can pay and get started with. There are open source model also, where this is one of the models from Salesforce. They have tuned this model, particularly Salesforce has done this, right? Where from the input image, whatever the input image that you give, it will generate a text caption for that image, whatever the information that is there in this particular information. And this is a very important use case, not only in text to image, but also in your RAG application. I'll tell you how and why, right? So I tried this, just 3 4 lines of code. This is again available on Hugging Face, right? You can generate or you can generate this image to caption through your other models, closed source. You can pay and generate, but I was trying to get for the learning on the open source part, where you give your input image, right? You get your input image, and our input image looks like this. This is my input image, right? And this is the caption that it has generated: a woman sitting on the beach with her dog, right? This is the information that it generated from your text model. Where I mentioned you can use it in your RAG as well, right? There is other model called Moondream. The model called Moondream is also a really good model. You see, uh, I tried this a couple of times. So these were the sample images. They were available already on their website, right? This is also open source. You can use it. Um, so I just gave like a random image which they have taken it, and I asked it to generate or like explain this image. It gave me a really good explanation around what this is about, right? Or if you want to generate this caption, you have the short, normal, or long kind of how what is the caption that you want it to want. You want it to be a very long caption, or you want to just a one liner, two liner kind of thing, right? You can do all those configuration and you can use this. Where you can actually use it in your use case one that I can tell you is, let's say your input PDF that you have, it has some images, right? How you handle those images, that would be a question mark, because those images can hold some information. It's not that images can be random. So if you want to extract the information out of those images, how will you extract that? So your text is a standard text, you use it as a text, right? And when your image comes in, you use that image, pass through this model to generate a caption of that image so that you understand, or your document, whatever the document that you are feeding into your RAG model, right? That information about that image is also there in your document itself, right? You are not missing on the information if the image comes in. So that's where this one use case you can apply, integrate it with your existing model to use more complex PDFs to handle in your RAG application, right? Does this make sense? Or this use case, um, definitely give it a shot. How you implement it would be deciding your learning on this.
And this code you're sharing, sir? This one you're sharing
Yeah,
somewhere?
I'll share. It is available open source also. I took it from Hugging Face only, but yeah, if you want, I can share it as well.
In the same folder, right? Wherever we have that AI
Yeah,
engineer,
I'll share it under week 4.
generative,
Yeah, in the GitHub.
generative
Yeah.
engineer. Okay.
Yes, I'll do that. Don't worry about that. Right. So similarly, you have text to speech models, speech to text models, right? Where you can have normal text to speech from speech to text conversion, right? Where you give, let's say, your MP3 file or MP4 file, depending upon whichever your model can handle. That's the criteria, right? You read that file and you pass it through your model and you do it. And I was trying to get it with your Grok. I was just preparing this before the lecture. You can play around this, and also um, the Grok allows you to play around with different model. They have their own playground. So before you get into the code, just see how it is working. Then you develop. They also gives you this code as well. So see, these are different models. For vision, you can use Llama 4 model. For text to speech, you can use this model. Text to text, there are these models, right? These are different model available for different tasks. And Grok is obviously I use Grok. You have DeepSeek model as well in here, right? You can use DeepSeek from here, or you can use these models directly from the website. What Grok does is Grok give you some open source or like some free credits to start with, right? So maybe you can start with here, try different model, and whichever you think is good, you can go with that model and maybe buy the credits and play around with that, right?
But in short, sir, what this Grok, what is that they're doing at least? I understand the
Grok
model.
is
Yeah.
hosting the models for you.
Oh, okay,
This
okay,
is
okay.
a platform, cloud platform, which will host the model for you. These are some of the open source model that are available. They will host it. You just get the API key, start using those models, right?
So this they host the models for general LML, LLM models as well
Yeah.
as anything specific to agentic AI. They model anything or in general nature, those type of
They
models.
they are hosting just the large language model. These are different language model they are hosting currently, right?
But how do you know what is the difference between, if you look at here, no, for
Mhm.
example, vision we have, it's a LLM 4 and
Mm.
functional calling tool use LLM 4. But if you
Mm.
want to know what is the difference between 4 and 3.3 70B,
Mm.
that's how we use it, right? For based
Uh-huh.
on our use case, will that there is any text for these models? What this model does?
Okay,
Might
so
be.
what this model does, you can go to the official documentation of these models,
Oh, okay, okay,
right?
okay.
So Llama 4 is a little upgraded version of Llama 2, Llama 3, Llama 3.37 TB. So it's just different model, just like OpenAI has multiple models, 4, 4.0, 4.0 mini, 4.0 nano, 4.1, O1, O3. Just different models are available with different capabilities, obviously. They have one model for Whisper. This is my uh, Whisper is my text to speech model, right? So if you want to play around with this model, you can do so, right?
And do
For
you have
the
any program, sir, which will, if you can host one file also for example for us, where
yeah,
this one of the Grok models is called in your file, right? So that we'll try to execute outside and then see how this works.
I already have shared those notebooks
Okay,
where I
okay.
was uh,
Week one and week two. Yeah, yeah.
week one and week two. There are Grok models that I'm using. It
Sure,
might
sure.
be the case that the model that I'm using at that point of time, let's say I was using a model, and it has happened with me. Trust me, I was running the notebook from starting. I was doing some changes, and obviously, it won't be that in first go you will be able to get your code right. So you was doing iteration and everything. By the time I reached the end, like the completion of my notebook, my model stopped working, and I was wondering why the model has stopped working. And then I went back and checked what is the problem in my code. Is there a problem in my code and everything? And then I changed the model and it worked, right? So that can be the scenario.
Can you show us how to get the API key also for any model? Just a sample
Yeah.
for very
So if you see, click on documentation. I think you will get the key somewhere.
and the same key for all the models, or it is different for each model?
Yes, it's the same key. The key is for your account.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. For my Gmail ID, whatever ID I'm using.
yes.
Okay, okay.
You see here API keys. These are your
Okay,
API key. You can create a API key. You can delete a API key, right? You can or just you just create a API key and start using it. You can use any of the models that are hosted on Grok with just this one single API key.
okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. And if you
Stage.
want to test it here, you have this playground. You can just change the model. Let's say you want to use this Whisper model, right? Whisper is a like audio model, right? You can give your input voice and it will do the processing and everything. It will be taken, or if you import your audio file, right? You can play around with that. And you can also get the code. If you want to use this code, I took this code from here only, where you input your file and you start using it. They also give you the sample code how you can use this. And again, you have this temperature and everything also here, right? You have DeepSeek model also. You just need to um, give a input, and this is playground. Playground is like you can explore the models, you can see the responses like and everything. See, I just give hi and it generated so much of text.
No, we are using similar ones. Tachyon. I don't know Tachyon from where they got, but there was a similar playground.
Yeah,
This
it's
one.
playground is like where you explore those models and everything that happens. Yeah. So just to like play around with this, that I would say that's a good place where you can explore different models and see their performance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quinn is also a good model. Yeah, so this was around this. And when you say multi-model, right? What is a multi-model? You understand what a multi-model is? Okay, so if I show you in my Grok dashboard, was it a dashboard or what it was? Documentation. Where were that page where we were looking at the multiple model?
That all the models,
Yeah.
Grok
So yeah,
models.
here it was, right? So if you see this Llama 4 is here also, which is my tool calling model as well. It is my vision model also. Vision model as in it can handle images. It is my text to text model also. It is my voice model, multilingual. It is also my voice model, right? So if you see this model can handle all these tasks, right? So we
Okay,
can
okay.
classify. So this model is not just limited to text to text. This model is capable of text to image. It is capable of image to text. It is capable of text to voice, voice to text. There are multiple models that are sitting inside this one single model, right? You can use the same model for multiple tasks. This is my multi-model, you can say. It is capable of the multi-model use cases. If you build an application, let's say which takes or which has a inside the pipeline, you are also handling voices, you are also handling text, you are also handling images, you are also handling different scenarios, right? Your approach would come up to be a multi-model, and that's what multi-model agentic AI, right? Because your model is able to, your model is capable, or your use case is capable of building all those scenarios or handling all those scenarios, right? That's where my multi-model comes in. Yeah, does this make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that was around our multi-model. Maybe build some use cases, building those use cases and coming up with challenges, solving them would be easier, or would be easier in the sense easy for learning because that's how we learn. Yeah. If you have any question, uh, please put up.
So how we can keep this flow going, right? Even after the classes, right? Maybe this is the last session,
Do
right?
the
For
projects,
okay.
do the projects, explore what is happening in the world of AI. Recently, I came across a
Is
news
any
where
newsletter, any newsletter that comes latest with the data for AI,
um,
AML, anything, sir?
you
Because
follow the different
which
blogs on
which blog, sir?
Medium is
Which
a
blog?
good source,
Which one, sir?
right? Medium is a good source.
Medium. Okay.
Yeah, there is this AIM.
AM. Okay.
You can follow that. That's also a good source. You can follow some of the YouTube video. There is this Matthew Berman, Andrew Karpathy. These are some good renowned name in the world of AI. There can be many more also. I'm not saying these are the only ones, but these are the ones which can give you some good updates. What is happening if you just follow them in the world of AI, right? Recently, I came across that just to get the good score, all right, when you evaluate a model just to get the good score, model started cheating. When I say cheating, it started saying, okay, since I need to get the correct answer, and I'll rather than doing all this calculation and everything, I'll get this answer, right? And how this was found, it was available in your agent scratchpad. What agent scratchpad is? It is some of the internal thoughts that model generate when it is doing some processing or getting to some answer, right? That is your internal scratchpad that agent uses. So these kind of text was available in your agent scratchpad, and there was also something around that your agents or your large language model are capable of overwriting its own system prompt. And when you say system prompt, it's like you are asking the model to stop at a given threshold, and the model is overwriting that command so that it does not stop and it keeps on continuing, right? So these are all those some scenarios, something happening in the world of AI. But yeah, just try explore different use cases, build around that. That would be helpful. By now, we have a good understanding of the AI models, how they are built, what are different use cases you can build around. RAG is quite interesting of them. You can build around that. Yeah. Uh, if you guys have any doubt, you can ask now, and then we can close the session. That was all for today.
And sir, if you have any question, we can reach out to you through email, any ID, sir. If you have any
Um,
through possible.
yeah, you can reach out to me over LinkedIn. Let me share my LinkedIn. Yeah, it's in the chat. You can take it from here.
1 second.
Yeah, you can ping me. So yeah, so if we don't have any doubts, we can call it a day for now. I hope you
And
guys enjoyed learning. Yeah.
yes, sir, we enjoyed it. And any materials, any source we can keep reviewing to understand the these foundation basic words and all as per you, right? Because
Um,
definitely we'll get the repository code from you.
hmm.
That one. And anything general, right? There will be some very good websites which in a simple language will explain. No, sir, that's what we would like to, but not very complex. Some we don't even understand when they speak. Also, any simple terms that will encourage people to work anything from this one, AML or agentic AI. Any good
Um,
documentation
for
in short.
documentation, I believe this Medium is a good source to review different approaches around how you can improvise. I got one a good interesting article on Medium long back on how you can improve your RAG. There were around 15 or 20 approaches, different approaches where you can improvise on your RAG response, how you can improvise. Uh, and by now we do have enough understanding so that we understand any of the articles or any of the blogs. These would be the basic terminologies that will come across if you come across new terminology or some new term comes up in the market. Like there is one this reasoning models has come up, right? So reasoning model is nothing. It just it will reason before it could answer. It will have some self-reflection kind of mechanism that it will ask for itself that the way that I'm thinking, the way that I'm approaching to a particular problem solution, is it the right way? Is there any other way that is possible to approach this solution? Just it will reason for the response that it will provide. It is just that reasoning model you can call. So, but it's there's no specific source for this as such. Just keep exploring and you'll come across. Okay.
Sure, sure, sir. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I believe this is the last session for this batch. If you have any doubts, anything, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. And I would also appreciate if you guys can add up to the feedback. That would definitely I'll definitely take that up. and that
Sure, sir.
will help
Definitely.
you as
Yes,
well.
session is very good, sir. Session is, I think, the way you are explaining it shows that you have very good, like thought or like command on the subject itself, and it's really very good actually. At least for me, that's my feedback, sir.
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks,
actually
Vasu.
zero. Actually, zero. Actually, I don't till I attend this session. I don't have much knowledge on this AML or agentic AI, but I did some WIDS, some small things, but not that much. But after I attended this session, right, so at least I was able to understand what is going outside. But from my side, I did not spend much time. That's only lagging for me
Mhm.
actually. So that's where I want to improve this one.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay. Yeah. So just keep practicing, keep
sure,
enjoying.
sure,
That's all.
sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Vasu. Thanks, Asok, for your time. Have a good one.
Thanks
Bye
again.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.